breaking news. This was about rapper Lil Durk slammed with new charges in his M for Hire plot. Sit back, check it out. We gonna keep this thing moving so fly, man. Check it out, right? He's a rapper that's trying to make it, right? He's a rapper that's trying to make it right now. So that's Lil Durk. Y'all don't know who he is. I'm gonna show you right now. That's Lil Durk. Lil Durk is a rapper that's trying to make it, and he got lost somewhere along the way, and then he got accused of these horrific crimes. There's another little rapper that I'm dealing with that I just met the other day. He's a battle rapper. His name is Murder Mook, right? If y'all don't know who that is, that's Murder Mook, battle rapper from Harlem, right? I met him on the corner the other day, and this is his first impression of me, and it touched me so much that I wanted to share this with you just so you could understand. All right? But before, let me do that right now so you understand, man. All right? This Murder Mook.
Hey, what's going on, man? Murder Mook, Harlem, you know what it is, man. I just want to express how much gratitude I got for Unique, you know what I mean? I was telling him a story, telling him how I felt about, if anything was to go wrong with my career, rap-wise, if, should be slow, and I got so many opportunities to be able to do the wrong shit. When I watch Unique Mecca audio, I feel it, and I, like, to my soul, and that's keeping me farthest away from doing anything criminal. Anything criminal. He made me think straight, honestly. Made me think straight, because I've been watching him for about a year, like a year now, maybe. And it just took my mind way off of that. Way off of that. From a year ago, it got rough. For a year ago,
Yeah.
and from watching this man, I just felt like you saved me. You saved me. And I just want to show my gratitude, and I want to say thank you, man. Unique Mecca Audio, anything you need, brother, from me.
All right?
Anything you need, man.
All right.
Love.
All right. All right, you know what it is. This about Lil Durk, man, and that's a little rapper that's trying to make it. And like he said, we hit these dark patches, man. We hit these dark patches. I took a couple of days off this weekend. I know y'all ain't hear from me. That's because I don't just come on here and just want to just throw out videos, and worry about getting views and getting the bag. That's irrelevant to me. What's relevant to me, so you understand, what is relevant to me is this, man.
Hey, what's going on, man? Murder Mook, Harlem, you know what it is, man. I just want to express how much gratitude I got for Unique, you know what I mean? I was telling him a story, telling him how I felt about, if anything was to go wrong with my career, rap-wise, if, should be slow, and I got so many opportunities to be able to do the wrong shit. When I watch Unique Mecca audio, I feel it, and I, like, to my soul, and that's keeping me farthest away from doing anything criminal. Anything criminal. He made me think straight, honestly. Made me think straight, because I've been watching him for about a year, like a year now, maybe. And it just took my mind way off of that. Way off of that. From a year ago, it got rough. For a year ago,
Yeah.
and from watching this man, I just felt like you saved me. You saved me. And I just want to show my gratitude, and I want to say thank you, man. Unique Mecca Audio, anything you need, brother, from me.
All right.
Anything you need, man.
All right. That's what it's about. That's what this is about, man, so y'all understand. It's about touching the youth, man. That's a young brother. I didn't even know who he is. I'm going to keep it 100. I've been going 26 years, man. He's a baby to me. He's my son's age. When I told my son, oh, yeah, I met Murder Mook the other day, he got excited. He's like, oh, yo, that's my man's favorite battle rapper. He liked that. Da, da. I said, yeah. He invited me to go out to Detroit. Da, da, da. If y'all want to go, we can run out there. And, you know, just to know that, like he said, I saved him. That's how I know I'm saving plenty of y'all out there. I'm not even going to say one. I know I'm saving plenty of y'all because I get them phone calls on this phone. This phone don't lie. I talk directly to people that I've touched their lives since I've been doing what I've been doing. And I'm most proud of that. But I'm going to get into this Lil Durk video. This is about one of our soldiers that lost their way. And this is to show the up-and-coming ones, you know what I mean? To use this as an example so you can see what you go through when, you know, you go astray. You know, because we all go astray. All right, let's get this thing moving.
A Grammy Award-winning rapper remains locked up, accused of being the mastermind of a plot to kill his rival. But now federal authorities are tacking on more charges in connection to the fatal 2022 ambush. Durk Banks, better known by his stage name Lil Durk, was arrested in October near Miami International Airport, allegedly on his way out of the country. He's accused of plotting to murder rapper Taekwon Bowman, better known as Quando Rondo. Federal prosecutors alleged in a previous indictment Lil Durk put a bounty on Quando Rondo's head after one of Rondo's associates shot and killed Durk's longtime friend and collaborator King Von in 2020. Now in a superseding federal grand jury indictment, the new charges he faces could keep Lil Durk behind bars for the rest of his life. Initially, the Chicago rapper was charged with one count of conspiracy to commit murder for hire. And the new indictment returned Thursday. It adds Lil Durk as the lead defendant to the October indictment that previously charged 5 other men with the 2022 fatal ambush.
All right, so let me explain that to you, right? They got a new indictment that came out. That's what I was telling you all about the Diddy case. That indictment that they got on Diddy, everybody yelling, woo, 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 that indictment is crap. You know what I mean? No disrespect, but in my opinion, his lawyers is down with the bull crap. They figure they keep him in jail. They could always run to his cell and tell him we need another 20 million and he gonna kick it out and, promise him, good bail prospects. And then, we need another 10 million. They give it to him because he's sitting in the cell. Because that indictment is weak. That indictment don't list nobody. You got to list the 5 people. You got to list a dollar amount. You know what I mean? You got to list a dollar amount of what you did in a RICO. They don't have the 5 people. They don't have the dollar amount. They don't have the acts. They don't have nothing. But that was just enough to take him off the street before the election and, get us focused on other things that we did. And that played out. And then they're getting ready to drop what they call a superseding indictment, which is what they just dropped on Lil Durk. A superseding indictment. First, he was just on it for conspiracy, for murder for hire. And then now they added a whole nother charge on it. That's called a superseding indictment. Diddy's going to get what they call a superseding indictment. And everyone that want to act like they cut like men of honor from the street that chose that life and say, nah, I'm not cooperating with you, copper. You know what I mean? Everyone that say that will be on that indictment, and those will be the names that's listed. The names that's not listed is the names that they said, oh, okay, yeah, I'll cooperate. We want me to lick. You know what I mean? And they went and did what they had to do. And, that's just the way it is. That's how criminal law works. So you understand that. But he got a superseding indictment. Diddy's superseding indictment is coming out. I would have been got Diddy out of jail on that joint right there. But they don't want him out of jail. He better off in jail because as long as he's in jail, they could control the bag by promising him freedom,
So now Durk is charged with conspiracy, 1 count of use of interstate facilities to commit murder for hire resulting in death, 1 count of using, carrying, and discharging firearms and a machine gun and possession of furtherance of a crime of violence resulting in death. These are the same charges Kevon London Grant, aka Vonnie, Asa Houston, aka Boogie, David Brian Lindsay, aka Brown Eyes, Keith Jones, aka Flocka, and DeAndre Dontrell Wilson, aka Didi, already face. According to federal prosecutors, those 5 men all have ties to Lil Durk's Only the Family, or OTF, that was formed in 2010. They claim OTF wasn't just about the music, but the organization also acted as an association of individuals who engaged in violence, including murder and assault at Lil Durk's direction to maintain their status within OTF. And authorities claim Durk directed them to carry out the sinister crime. According to court documents, Lil Durk feuded with the victim only known as TB in the indictment. However, the initials are the same as Quando Rondo's full name, Taekwon Bowman. Their feud stemmed from the November 2020 murder of Lil Durk's friend King Von, in which an associate of TB shot and killed him outside a hookah lounge in Atlanta. According to the indictment, Lil Durk seemingly wanted revenge and allegedly put a bounty on TB's life. That all came to a head 2 years later on August 19th of 2022 when several OTF members and associates allegedly used 2 vehicles to track, stalk, and attempt to murder Quando Rondo for hours. And eventually they caught up to Rondo, his cousin, and his sister at a gas station near the Beverly Center shopping mall. Lots of disturbing allegations in this indictment against Lil Durk, but I want to take this moment to thank Upside.
Yeah, so that's where we at, just so you understand. This is so deep, man, that we have to really sit back and understand where we going as a people and what we want from each other as a people. You know what I mean? But like I said, when I'm capable of reaching out and
Hey, what's going on, man?
touching people
Murder
like
Mook,
this,
Harlem, you know
that's
what
the
it is,
best
man.
part.
I just want to
You know what I
express
mean? This the best
how
part when
much
you can touch
gratitude I got
this,
for
because you don't want to have.
You know what I mean?
You definitely don't want
I
to
was
have
telling
a crime scene.
him a story, telling him how I
Because when
felt
you got
about,
the crime scene,
you know,
it's like,
hey, what's
crazy,
going on,
crazy,
man?
crazy.
Murder Mook, Harlem, you know what
So
it is,
now,
man. I just want to
let's put this
express
back up.
how much
I just
gratitude
wanted
I
to
got
see
for
my man,
Unique.
so you understand.
You know what I mean?
that.
I was telling him a story, telling him how I felt about, if anything was to go wrong with my career, rap-wise, if should be slow, and I got so many opportunities to be able to do the wrong shit.
Keith Jones, David Brian Lindsay, and a third unidentified man known in the indictment as co-conspirator 2 carried out the shooting, which was captured on surveillance video. According to the indictment, 18 shots were fired during the shooting, but instead of killing Rondo, they killed Rondo's cousin, who was ID'd in court documents as SR. Authorities tracked down the men involved after the hitmen used money from Lil Durk and OTF to carry out the hit. According to federal prosecutors, bank and flight records showed an OTF member and close associate of Lil Durk coordinated and paid for the 5 co-conspirators to travel from Chicago to California on the day of the murder. Court documents say around the time the one-way flights were purchased, Lil Durk told an OTF associate, "Don't book no flights under no names involved with me." That same day the hitmen traveled from Chicago to California, Lil Durk also traveled to California, but in a private jet with Kevon Grant. When they touched down in Cali, Grant allegedly purchased ski masks for the shooters and paid using a credit card in Lil Durk's name for the other co-conspirators' hotel rooms. Grant was named as a top OTF associate in the indictment and allegedly also used the money to rent the luxury sedan used in the shooting and gave Jones, Lindsay, and the third unnamed suspect guns, including one that was converted into a fully automatic machine gun. After Grant, Jones, Lindsay, Wilson, and Houston were arrested in late October, Lil Durk tried to leave the U.S. According to the FBI, Durk booked at least 3 international flights. U.S. Custom and Border Protection alerted the feds he booked 2 one-way flights to Dubai and Switzerland. However, he didn't board either flight. Instead, officials say the Chicago rapper also booked a private plane to leave Miami and arrive in Italy. Durk was booked into custody on October 24th, an hour before the plane's departure. And he was taken to the Broward County Jail before his transport to Los Angeles to face the charges. Meanwhile, the other 5 men named in the indictment are still in federal custody in Illinois, pending their transfer to LA for arraignment. The Grammy Award-winning rapper and his co-defendants are facing a lengthy sentence if convicted on all counts, a max sentence of life in prison. We have a lot to unpack with this new superseding indictment against Lil Durk, so I have a great guest that I want to bring on, and that's retired Detective Commander Will Spieler. Will, always great to have you on. Now, you're from Chicago. What's your reaction hearing Lil Durk's been arrested for this murder-for-hire plot that did result in the murder of the intended victim's cousin instead?
Well, it's really not a big surprise. He grew up in Inglewood. I'm very, very familiar with Inglewood. We've had problems with these driller rappers with feuds in the neighborhoods that resulted in many shootings, many murders, going back to the Chief Keef days and even before that. So it's not a really big surprise to me that he would have been involved in this type of activity.
And being that you've worked in Chicago, talk to me a little bit about the drill rapper scene over there and OTF. Have they ever been on your radar before?
Oh, absolutely. OTF specifically, not as an organization, but individuals involved with the OTF. You got to understand, it's not just the rap group OTF. It's the fact that they're affiliated with street gangs, gangster disciple street gangs. We've got all kind of gang problems out here in Chicago, and a lot of these rappers come from these crews. And we have shootings all the time where they're filming videos on the street doing their diss raps or whatever you call them, and then there's shootings at those videos, at those video shoots. So
Okay, let me explain this to you, Rock. I think y'all might need a little explaining with that because I fully understood what he's saying. What he's saying is that you got rap groups, you got the rap group OTF, right? Only the family, right? Now, those are rappers over there, and then you have rappers, individual rappers that's connected to gangs, right? I'm gonna put my hands in the screen. You got OTF over here, and you got individual, rappers over here. Now, the individual rappers is connected with gangs, and then they get with OTF, the rap group. As he's saying, rap group, not a gang. They're not even looking at them in Chicago based on what this man is saying as a gang. But the feds is putting them together as a gang, because if they put them all together and label it a gang, then it's easier to get them off the street and get the head, which is the bag, which is all of these young, minority, record executive owners and things like that. This is how they're coming to get you. You sign an artist that's connected with a gang, but you're not with a gang, you just OTF, you know? And then now, being that he's with your organization, right? Legal organization of your record label, but he's of a criminal aspect of the street, and he brings it in to your signing and intertwining that you're responsible and liable for his actions. That's where lawsuits come in, and that's where criminal charges as well come in. Criminal charges come in because they're saying that you conspired with him to commit these gang activities because you signed him knowing that he's a gang member. Can't say it no simpler than that. I'm trying to just break it down so y'all really understand what's being going on here. Like they got the Young Thug brothers over there in Atlanta, right? That trial going on for all that time. Same situation. Young Thug got his group YSL over here. They doing their thing, but they signing gang members that's with the Bloods, the Crips, the Jubilee, the Hoobaloo, the whoever, whatever label that the feds want to put on it. So when they sign into agreement with them, now they're saying they're responsible for them and their actions because they're co-conspirators in making money, but with a legal record label. But the young man or woman that they signing in is still associated with the street, and being that they still signed together, he's responsible for what the signees do, which is the gangbangers on the street. So they're gonna wind up using that so that record labels ask, yo, you in a gang before you even sign, you in a gang? What block you from? Do you claim anything? You ever claimed a set? Because anything that they do, what the feds is using now as their modern day tool that I'm breaking down to you over here, Unique Mecca Audio, go subscribe over at Mecca Audio TV, please. I'm trying to build this channel up. Go subscribe over at Mecca Audio TV. But that's how that breaks down. So that's basically what he was saying. Let me get back to it, but listen to him now. He already said that they wasn't looking at OTF as a gang, that they knew that gang bangers was signing to them. And then when they go to video shoots, then all hell break loose. And then they be gunshots from the guys that's still with the gang, but OTF is a legal record label, and he recognized that because he's dealing on the state level. But on a federal level, they said, oh, we could get them by intertwining the contract that they signed with the street gangbanger, holding them responsible for what the street gangbanger does. That's what's happening. Wake up. Don't say I didn't tell you first. I don't come up here to badmouth no next YouTuber and all of that. I come up here to wake up my babies, man. Wake up my brothers. All right, let's get this thing popping.
So we've been after them for quite a while. Again, not going after them so much as an organization, but individuals committing these murders in furtherance of their gang activity.
And what do you make of the rap scene that also bleeds into the street, where your favorite rapper could be coming out with great music that you enjoy, but then they still hold on to the streets, even though by all accounts they've made it big?
They made it out. But, some do make it out. Look at Snoop. Now, there's a perfect example who was a stone cold gangbanger in LA who made it out. And the only way they can fully make it out is you got to separate yourself from the people that drag you into that life. The kid had talent. The kid had a future. He was making money, but he couldn't get out of that gang mentality, that street mentality that he grew up with.
And, given your expertise in all of this, where does this all stem from? Is it really just like beefs within the neighborhood? Is it over women? Like, where do these rap beefs and these feuds that turn so deadly, where do they really stem and originate from?
It all starts on the streets, okay? And it all starts in the home, as we know. Dirk's dad is doing 2 life sentences.
No, correction. Dirk's daddy's home. Congratulations. Round of applause. Under law, he's home. Let's get that straight. See, we do fact checking over here at Unique Make Audio. We don't just let him say anything.
He was a leader in the Gangster Disciples. That's the life he knows. His mom worked hard. She was a nurse, I believe. She worked full time as a nurse. I mean, he grew up on the streets. And anything happens on the streets. It could be over a dope corner. It could be over a girl, like you said. It could be over property. It could be over territory. It could be over just disrespecting each other within these crews. So there's a lot of different reasons why it escalates to this, but it all stems from the street life.
And going into this murder for hire plot, was it common?
Hey, what's going on, man? Murder Move, Harlem. You know what it is, man. I just want to express how much gratitude I got for Unique. You know what I mean? I was telling him a story, telling him how I felt about.
You gotta get them out about 15 minutes after you know about the
Hey, what's going on, man? Murder Move, Harlem. You know what it is, man. I just want to express how much gratitude I got for Unique. You know what I mean?
The crime itself, but you also send resources to the other side against the rival gang you suspect that they'll be retaliating against. And it happens all the time. There's a thing on the street called an SOS, called a shoot on sight. Gangs get that with other members, and not just for individuals in the other gangs, but for anybody in that gang is an SOS.
Yo, this dude knows what he's talking about. See that SOS shoot on sight? You know what I mean? Just like in the feds, you know what I mean? Meaning it's on site. On site mean wherever I see you. If I see you in the warden's office, it's on. If I see you in a visit with your 90-year-old mother, it's on. Your mother better be ready to protect you from me if I see you. That's what on site mean. I don't care where I see you. If I see you in the church, it's on. That's on site. And it's crazy because in the feds, why can we ride? So we're going to let the rat bastard step out. We're going to get rid of the rat bastards. All right. Let's ride. I like what he just said. See, on site is like this, right? On site is you getting a beef with somebody in the jail, right? So you're in Lompoc. You're in a beef with somebody in Lompoc, and then, y'all in the hole and you say, man, it's on site when I see you again. Now they send, you to Terry Hutt and send him to Leavenworth, And then, next move, they wind up sending, you over there the way he's at. Now you on the compound with him. As soon as you go on the compound and you see this man, you know that it's nothing to talk about. you better have your knife on you. If you don't, you better turn your fingers into deadly claws. You know what I mean? All that, just so you understand. You know? So that's how that is when it's on site. So when they say shoot on site, that means wherever you see them, you shooting. You don't care who baby get hit, who grandmama get hit. It don't matter who get hit. That's why I say don't get involved in the street, man. You gotta have better, care for human life than to just say it's shoot on sight. If I see him, I'm just gonna shoot, and I don't care who mother, baby, grandmama, or auntie behind him or whoever I'm shooting at. I'm just shooting because it's on sight, and that's really the way it is. If I see him on the train, I'm shooting on the train. That's what on sight means. So think twice before y'all decide to get on count. There's dudes that's cut for that. That's ready for the consequences for that. Alhamdulillah, let them be them. Because you got all types of warriors and soldiers, and men's and boys. So if they want to be a warrior, let them be a warrior. I want to be a warrior. Let me ride. Let me ride. Let me ride. Like when I was in Lewisburg, right? I'm in Lewisburg and I'm ready to go to the police doing the crack law ride, and there's an old head in there, and he had control where we looked up to him. And I'm going off and I'm tying up things and I'm getting ready for this big ride, and we gotta do all up in Lewisburg. Everybody got their knives sharp and the buckets with the water, the towels. We ready for war. The broomsticks, the extension cords, the tie doors up, we ready for war. you know? And then there was other old men in there saying to the old head that they know that had influence over us, yo, you're not gonna stop Unique in them? And he said, yo, Unique and them is fighting for a cause that they feel is right within their heart. So if a soldier wants to fight for a cause, you don't take that fight out the soldier. You let the soldier do what a soldier's supposed to do. So let Unique do what he's supposed to do because he believes that's a fight that he should be having. That's how real it is in the Ville where I came from. That's how I was raised as a man. When all he had to do was say, yo, you chill. That's simple. I'm a soldier. If you would have said, yo, you chill, I would have just deaded it. But he knew it was a just cause. And he's letting the elders know because you don't have the strength and the will and the heart and the courage like these young men to fight for a cause that you yourself know is wrong. That was the 100-to-1 crack law riot when they were centering black people for 100 grams. If you got 100 grams of powder, you only get 5 years. You know what I mean? You get probation. For 100 grams of powder, you get probation. But if you got 1 gram of crack, 1 gram of crack, hey, you get 5 years. And the crack was in the urban communities, and the powder was in the suburban European communities. So when the Europeans got caught with a big bag of cocaine, they got probation. When we got picked up with a little rock that a dude was gonna smoke, we got 5 years. And if you had a prior, you got 10 years. You had 2 prior, now you're looking at 25 years. And that's how they ran the time up to give us these crazy times while so many people is coming out. Just so you understand. That's how real this is in the Ville. So I said, don't step into this, man, because it ain't worth it. I had to stand by the codes and the rules of it that right now, today, y'all are looking at me and saying, you's a dumbass. You going by them old ass codes, you this, you that. Yeah, but I took an oath to them. That's what come with stepping on the street. So you youngins don't think you're going to step on the street, not take the oath, and that your life is going to be hunky-dory, because when it's time to pay up and you go within the system, or they even release men from the system that's still living like that don't want to let that go, they might come home and be headhunters. What we call in the, penal rat hunters. So don't be surprised if a nut come out here and decide he want to go after all rats. You know, they got a gang in the prison called Kill All Rats. I gotta hit that with the gunshots. Kill all rats. You know what I mean? That's for the rat bastards. You know, not promoting the violence, just telling you what it is, giving you education on what goes on the inside. They got a gang called Kill All Rats. And they don't care what race you are. If they come across you, they're trying to unalive you. Let's get back to this,
On site if you see them. So it's very common and still going on.
And it seems there was heavy planning involved. They bought masks, rented cars, tracked Quando Rondo down to Los Angeles. Are you surprised about this amount of planning that went into this?
No, not really. But everything you just said describes almost to a T what they're indicted for.
man.
When you talk about,
I like him.
there's an interstate thing. The FBI is involved because it's an interstate thing. You've got planning, you've got records, you've got interstate travel. Um, it's not surprising when you have that much of a crew that you're going to do those kind of things. Um, but all of those things add up to a lot of problems for these defendants.
Mm.
Yeah, and according to the feds, Lil Durk even tried to flee out of the states too. In your opinion, what does that kind of tell you about how much he was allegedly involved in all of this?
Oh, it tells me that he knew that he was going to be targeted by a prosecution. And again, this happened in 2022, and the indictments happened starting with last in October for this murder that happens in 2022. So I will tell you this much: my experience with the feds are when the feds come looking for you, they pretty much already have you. So there was probably a grand jury convened, there were witnesses spoken to, and it got back to Dirk that, yeah, you know what, they're hot on your trail. So I think he knew full well what was happening, and and in superseding indictment, they named him as the head of the organization, shot caller. That's not a good position to be in.
And there's been a lot of rumors circulating online that there was an informant within OTF that may have snitched on Little Dirk. What are your thoughts? And, from what we know so far, is anything pointing out to you that a snitch might have been involved?
I would say absolutely. A lot of information you get is from confidential sources, confidential informants. And when I worked with the feds, we did a 10-month wire. We had a bunch of informants. And not only do we have informants, we have informants that we put listening devices on and spoke to people. And that's how you build your case. And in that indictment was up for 10 months. We had 51 indictments. We had one trial. Everybody else pled out.
Mm.
Because, and again, as this progresses, as you speak to more and more people who come in and say, all right, listen, this is what we have on you, and your sentence is from now on. When people start looking at that type of sentence, they start giving information so they can get departures. Like I said, out of that 51 count indictment, we had 50 pleas in one trial.
Mm.
And we're seeing 6 men who were allegedly all involved in this murder for hire that, did end up fatally wounding Quando Rondo's cousin. What are your thoughts on this case going to trial? Do you think all 6 of them could take a plea? Do you think some could end up standing trial? What are your thoughts on where we could end up later on as this case continues to evolve?
Well, they're going to be getting offers. They're going to get offers. They're going to say, like in our case, we had the head guys were looking at life, and they pled to 30. Now, these are guys in their 20s, early 30s. Maybe they have some life after that. You're going to see people plead out in this case, depending on what they give them. But you're going to see people plead out, especially when you're looking at a life sentence. And I'm going to tell you, when the feds come after you, like I said, they've got a good case. So you're going to see some people flipping, as we say.
And kind of going back to the downward trajectory that we're seeing Lil Durk right now, where he was, going from winning Grammys, getting out of the streets to now still being tied up in his alleged gang affiliations back at home, still being tied up in the street life, and now facing a life sentence behind bars. What are your thoughts on this overall? He went to the Cinderella story now to possibly ending up behind bars for the rest of his life.
It's a tragedy. Like I said, it's hard enough for these kids to get out of the situations that they're in England. But once they do get out, you pull for them, whether it's your kind of music or not. You pull for kids to do better and not get dragged into that. But when your mentality is the street mentality, sometimes they just can't get away from that. And this is a shame. I mean, he's had run-ins with the law before, but you think he made it. And then you just get dragged down into this, and it all comes down to the street level mentality. And that's what they know.
And the Quando Rondo shooting did happen in 2022. Why do you think we're seeing the indictment now, 2 years later? Talk to me a little bit about all that it takes to go into this level of investigation, especially given now that the federal government's involved.
Well, it's just that. It's that the federal government is involved. And once the federal government gets involved, whatever information they have, and it starts out in LA, LA will develop information. They'll see that there's a federal tie when you start talking about crossing state lines. You start talking about crossing state lines, using public transportation to get to a crime, then they start to build it. And like I said, with the feds, they're not in a hurry. They will build, they'll interview, they'll convene a grand jury, they'll get all kind of testimony in before the grand jury, before you'll do your indictments or before you'll do your criminal complaint, where you'll name your defendants. 2 years is about average.
All right. Well, Will Spieler, I appreciate always your time and your insight into cases like this. But before we sign you off, is there?
Yeah, so that's where we at, man. Just so you fully understand how real this is, that we're not playing no games, man. We just trying to save the babies over here at Unique Mecca Audio. We need to wake up, man. We made it. We made it because we got the chains off our wrists. Now we need to take the mental chain off our feet and stop standing in quicksand. And wherever we elevate to, we still have our feet stuck right there. And we're not trying to elevate beyond that. Is beyond me. But been on here long enough. Go subscribe at Mecca Audio TV. That's my other channel. And subscribe and hit the notification bell here, there, and everywhere. Let's keep it moving. All right.
Cheers, cheers. The crime.
Out the can of 26, he back on the strip, getting back in the mix. What he mentions a gift. You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this. Take a little gully posse and put it in hall. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. The Instagram page and the YouTube, you could go and visit. Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn. Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. Did not pay attention, would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squilling to the cops, Mecca Audio. Get it live like 2 G's in the 90s. Drop top beamer so shiny. I let shorty go, she was whining. Treat her like my past, she behind. Spend a couple bands on the Dapper Dan. You be back again, getting green like a Packers fan. No cap, it's a raw in uptown. Baby horn uptown, Dominican bust down. Now we on the positive, we got a lot to give. Now you trying to stop the kids from being inoperative. So take heed, homie, lend an ear. He started in uptown, he gon' finish there. But now it ain't about selling drugs, buying cars, it's about buying property